Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Tosca. I'm so happy to be back, you guys, and thank you for all the feedback from the Jenny and the Taeyoung video. I do read all the comments, and I think all of you know that. And I know that how I read is not for everyone, and so I'm going to just kind of explain what it means to be psychic, what it means to read tarot, because I think some of you have a misconstrued idea of what reading energies and what reading tarot is. And there is a question in there, and I haven't taken this down, so I want you to, if you find it, cool. If you don't, that's okay. I'm not going to shout you out, but someone asked me if I hate myself, which was supposed to be obviously a bullying, triggering tactic to get me to get a rise or get upset about it. And yeah, so I'm going to answer that question first. So I got a question saying like, oh, your readings have been kind of like blah lately, and you know, did you hate yourself when you were homeless or didn't have a home to go to? And so that really stuck out to me because I know who I am, okay? I've been doing tarot for a very long time, and I've learned to love myself. Do I hate myself? No. Do I hate situations I've been in? Probably. There were situations in my life where I wish it had never happened. I've seen things in my life that I wish would have never happened. I want you to know, you guys, that when I do readings for people like BTS or Blackpink or anyone you can think of, it gives me no pleasure to read the tarot cards and fill it with the energy that I'm getting, that they're not happy with their lives. Like, it doesn't make me happy that they are unhappy. Some of you feel like it's slander, but it's not. There is obviously an element of truth because it got a rise out of some people. But what I'm going to say is, it took me a long time to really accept myself and accept my abilities for what they are. Do I hate myself? Absolutely not. I have learned to love myself despite not being perfect. I know I'm not perfect, and I know I'm not a perfect tarot reader. I'm humble enough to accept that. I'm humble enough to know when I'm not for everyone. You know, I'm humble enough to say that. And to read tarot for me is not just reading tarot and throwing it in your face. It's reading tarot for me is sacred. Is sacred, and it's putting myself in a situation where I can see through the eyes of someone else and see how they feel and see how they walk and live and eat and breathe. And it's painful because we are living in a hurting world. We are living with people. These celebrities, they're just people. They are just people like you and me. They go through the same emotions, they go through the same mental thoughts, they go through the same everything. The only difference is they have more in the bank account and they're famous. That's it. So when I read on Taeyoung, it gives me no pleasure to say, oh, he's drinking. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with drinking. He's over 21. He can drink as much as he wants. but it gives me no pain or no pleasure or no joy to really say, like, they're going through a tough time right now. Like that, to insinuate that I want him to go through a tough time doesn't mean that I'm actually taking pleasure. That would be slander. If I was saying that he might be going through a tough time and he needs to, or he has to, no, 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 no. I'm just saying what I see, and I'm saying what I feel. And the second thing is, I did a lot of shadow work. I did the dirty work, and I really put my ass to the test, literally, to become a better tarot reader, to become a better musician, to become a better everything. It's different when you have a tarot reader who has seen a lot, been through a lot, and experience plays a huge part in tarot reading, which is why I'm so open and kind of attracted to it. And that hopefully a lot of you can understand that when I do read tarot, there's actually beauty in it, there's actually clarity and healing involved. So yes. So no, I don't hate myself. I feel as though it took a long time for me not to hate myself. I think, you know, when I hear things like, um, you know, you should go jump, you should go, off yourself or whatever, you don't understand that I've already been through all of that. You guys don't really understand that I'm tested. I'm already been tested. Like, I've already been through a lot. Um, I have seen buildings being burned. I have seen people jump out of 100-story buildings with my own eyes. I have seen the Twin Towers collapse with my own eyes. I have seen people never seeing their families again. I have seen death through a huge, massive scale that you don't even know. Like, I see the bigger picture, and I've seen it, since I was probably like 10 or 11. And since I was 10 or 11, it's just been an ongoing, like an ongoing thing. And I didn't want to accept myself, and that's when I hated myself. That was when I didn't accept myself for who I was. I was a teenager. I was still living with my parents. My parents had strict rules. They were very religious. They wanted me to live a certain kind of life that was not working for me. Okay? But I've been tested. Like, I'm tried and true. Like, I've seen things on a greater scale that many of you, like, I'm just reading for celebrities for you guys, but I see things on a bigger scale. For example, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I literally, out of nowhere, out of the blue, I had said, Russia is going to invade Ukraine. People laughed at me. Like it was nobody's business. Look what happened 5 months ago. I see things on a bigger scale than what you guys see. You guys are only focused with one person, and that one person for me is, he's going through a lot. He's going through a time in his life where he has more questions in his life than answers, and no one's giving him the answers. And I've been through the same thing too. And the moment I chose to listen to myself, to listen to my intuition, to listen to how I read tarot, and to just meditate and bring it all back, I kind of I started to understand, man, this is such a powerful gift that a lot of people need to see. Like, no one has, there are only two people on YouTube who I consider very good tarot readers. Two people. There's a huge community of tarot readers on YouTube. Huge community, thousands. You can watch all of them. I'm sure they will say what you want to hear. I'm sure they will be more to your liking. You have a plethora of people to choose from. But for me, I'm very choosy with who reads my tarot cards and who when I make predictions and I read the cards, I'm very choosy with my, with, with how I portray them. Tarot for me is sacred. Tarot for me is guidance from the divine. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes we don't like what we see. This is probably one of the reasons why I'm still single, is because I know when someone's going to leave me for someone else or just leave me out of the blue. Like, I know it sucks, or I know when someone's gonna cheat on me. This gift is a blessing and a curse, because I already know what is to come for myself, for a vast majority of people. And when I read for example, for BTS or for Taehyung, for example, I'm not happy with where he is in his life because there's a lot of things he's going through. It doesn't make me an asshole, for example. It doesn't make me an asshole to just say that I'm trash talking him, because I'm not. Actually, I want him to acknowledge where his shortcomings are so that he can freaking learn from it. This whole life is a learning process, and I think a lot of you think that you need to hear it one way or the other and not, I haven't changed my narrative between those two people. I have not changed my narrative between Jennie and Taehyung for over 2 months. I haven't changed my narrative at all. And to ask me if I hate myself for doing a reading like that, no, I don't hate myself. And to ask anyone that question if they hate themselves is horrendous, and it's you should never even ask anyone that. You should never ask anyone that, no matter how much you dislike that person. Like, do you hate yourself? Like, what kind of image are you trying to portray to others? Because it doesn't speak volumes of me as a tarot reader, it speaks volumes of you as a person. So, yes, there are a lot of things that people don't like. There are a lot of things that when I read tarot or when I predict that are painful. If a guy got over me, then a guy got over me. I can't change that truth. I can't change that narrative. Will my ex-boyfriend come back? I don't, people ask me that a lot. Will my ex-boyfriend come back? Will he da-da-da-da-da? And I said, looks like he's not coming back. I wouldn't wait around on it, right? When I read knowing that human nature is also at play here, you know. Human nature and free will is at play. Taehyung can change his life in a second. He can change everything around his life in a minute. If he just closes his eyes, meditates, and really focuses on, okay, how am I going to move forward from here? This part of my life is not working out, but how can I move forward? He can change if he really wanted to. He can change his whole entire life. It all takes a matter of willpower and confidence and inspiration and motivation on his part. And, you know, when things go left, which in many cases they do, you have to learn how to be able to man your own canoe, to row your own boat, to freaking do everything what you can to stay afloat. There are people starving in this world. You know, there are people starving, there are people going through wars, there are people going through genocides, and you're just focused on this one person who's going through one thing, who can change his life if he really wanted to, but he's not taking initiative to do anything about it. That's not on me. That's on him. You know, life is what you make of it. I keep saying you are the creator of your own life. You are the creator of your own reality. So, with that being said, I truly appreciate all of you who have watched my channel. And by the way, that question was a valid question. In fact, in a way, I kind of appreciate that question actually came up, because it took a long time for me to speak up, to speak my truth. Because yes, there is an element of truth to hating myself, because there was a time where I tried to end my life. I didn't like where I was. I have tried to commit suicide. I have tried to off myself 3 times. The second time I was almost successful, but I'm still here. So obviously I gave it up to the universe, and I said, you know what? If I can't even get this right to end my own life, then obviously you want me here for a reason. Obviously I'm here for a reason to speak my truth, to do all these things, to read tarot, to entertain you, but at the same time give you, you know, an element of my gift and my and what I can do. This has been my abilities. In fact, you don't need tarot cards if you're a real psychic. You really don't need the tarot cards to predict. If you're a psychic, you can just be a psychic. Like I can just talk to you and tell you everything. Tell you what I see. Which has happened to me. It's happened to me a couple of times. So I've been through life and death situations. I've told people, if you're okay with a certain scenario, then do it. But make sure you want to live with it. I have been with people who have gone through painful relationships, abusive relationships. Just hearing some of the stories I'm getting at my personal readings on this channel, just the personal readings alone, some of you are going through things that I could not even imagine. And yet, giving you a tarot reading gives you more clarity and more healing. I mean, just the outburst of like, oh my God, thank you so much, Tosca. You've given me so much. Thank you so much. Like, I never realized that so many people would actually come to me for not just advice, but for um, insight and understanding and clarity on how to process certain things that are going on. Now, mind you, I do understand that how I read is, again, it's not for everyone. But to be able to do this, I think, has been an enormous, tremendous blessing, despite people who don't agree with me, who don't like how I read, who don't like my narrative. Um, it's been a huge blessing for me because, again, what I bring to you is love and light. It's literally for me to say love and light tells me that there was a lot of healing involved in my life on my part for me to share what I have been through with you. I have seen, wars break out. I have visions of, like, there were a couple times where I have seen schools being shot, like in my head, schools being shot up. And, in the US, there's been like 11 mass shootings in the beginning of the year, just like in the beginning of the year. 11 mass shootings. I have seen, I have been in positions where I have to tell someone who I'm doing a tarot reading on whether it's life or death. And there were times where I have to say, sir, I think you need to get your affairs in order. It's not my job to save the world and for everyone to agree with me. It's just my job to speak my truth. I don't have a savior complex. Because even the savior of the world was betrayed by his own. So, again, not everyone is going to agree with what I have to say. Not everyone's going to agree with how I read tarot. I didn't even know who BTS was, to be honest. I didn't even know who BTS was until someone requested a video on, hey, can you do a reading for BTS? And I said, okay. Because before I was doing these BTS Blackpink readings, I was doing tarot readings for your zodiac signs. And I knew that doing a reading for BTS, I just said, okay, I'll do it. I have no qualms. There is nothing that I am gaining from saying the things I say about Jungkook, Taehyung, Jennie, Lisa, whoever. I'm not gaining or losing anything from it. I'm just, except for probably subscribers. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I don't even know who these people are. So there's nothing that I'm actually losing from it. What you see is what you get. Absolutely. What you see is what you get. There are times where I have good days. There are times where I have bad days. There are times where, yes, I'm tired, but I'm still gonna do a YouTube video because you have to treat your YouTube channel like a business. YouTube flows on an algorithm, so you have to treat it consistently. And so, yeah, there are times where you don't want to do it. Majority of the time when you're an adult, you're going to do things that you don't want to do. You're going to say things that you don't want to say. You're going to do things that, you really don't want to just deal with, but you're still going to do it. You know, YouTube is an algorithm. It is, if you have a YouTube channel, then you know that your YouTube channel is your business. You have to treat it as such. So there are days and times that, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm still going to do a tarot reading for you guys. I still want to entertain you guys. I still want to go live. But I have never felt, to be honest, I've never felt such a more fulfilling thing ever in my entire 35 years than I did for my YouTube channel. Because I know that despite the loud, you know, comments, there are people who watch my channel and probably don't say anything. They're like, you know what, I feel like she's doing what's right for her. She's doing her thing, and or I can totally relate to what she's going through because I'm going through the same thing. So those obstacles in my life where you think that I would falter or you think that I would quote unquote hate myself, you know, I take that as almost like a badge of honor because I've been through so much. I've been through a lot. I've seen things. I've done things. I've manifested things. I've met so many different people, and you know, I could look at life in the most negative possible way, but I don't think I'd ever be happier than me doing these tarot readings for you guys. Like, to be honest, despite a lot of things, you know, no path is going to be perfect, right? There's no one linear path that's going to be the right one. But I know damn well that I'm doing something right for you guys. And that means almost everything to me. That means everything to me. It really does. Especially those of you who have supported me from the jump. Those of you who have loved my tarot readings from the beginning. Those of you who have like supported me. You know, starting a YouTube channel is not an easy task. And I feel like some of you who watch other tarot readers, they will say they will pretty it up. They'll have the lights, they'll have candles, they'll have all the ins and outs, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want that, then cool. But, you know, all I have is me, and all I have is my gift, and all I have is my laptop and click record and, you know, sending it to you. Which leads me to my last segment of this little chit chat. I don't I do edit my videos. I do certain takes. So I'll do like a take 1, maybe I do a take 2. But I try to keep it as in original format as much as I can. Just because I don't want a whole different narrative to come out and then, you know, something totally different pops out, you know, in the second reading. I try to do things, I want to give like the original explanation to how I read tarot because I feel like it's more genuine that way. It's more realistic and it's more genuine when I do, and it's more raw. And I want you guys to know that this journey of being on YouTube has been such a blessing for me. And I know I've gone up, gone down, You know, I really started with zero and really tried to make this as best as I can, um, and try to share my gifts with you as best as I can. And when I read tarot, like, I don't have any malice to anyone. I will never tell you that, you know, you might, I don't know. I will never say anything out of anger or out of negativity or out of pain. But I will tell you, what you see is what you get. And this is what I see, and this is what I get. Maybe other tarot readers are more to your liking, so, you might want to watch them. But I've been right in a lot of things that I've never really acknowledged myself for. And, like, for example, um, I don't know, like, I I knew that after this COVID thing, like, I kind of saw, like, during COVID, that Asians would be a huge minority that would be targeted by a lot of crime. And that that pains me. Like, as an Asian person, like, that pains me. I don't like to see my own people dying. Like, I don't want to see my own people, like, suffer. Like, it gives me no happiness or joy to tell you that there are people suffering in this world. Like, if I could change poverty, if I could change the debt crisis, if I could change all these things, I would. But I can't. We're living in a realistic and broken world. I can't fix things. I'm not the savior of the world. If I could, I would. But I can't. And if someone like Taehyung is going through a painful crisis in his life, then he's going through a crisis in his life. A lot of people are. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much talent you have. People are people. People will have their own ways of dealing with it. So, I know I have people on here who may have liked how I used to read, or may have, um, I don't know. I don't know. Nothing has really changed with how I read tarot. I read tarot the way I read tarot. I could be low on energy sometimes, or I could be a little bit tired sometimes, but how I read is how I read. And I don't change that for anyone. And I hope you guys understand that being a tarot reader does not mean you are a psychic. There are a lot of tarot readers on YouTube that are not psychics. They just read tarot cards. There are only two tarot readers on YouTube that I will listen to. I will listen to. The rest of them, they can do their own thing. There's no hate on them. It's just, I don't need aesthetics. I don't need pretty nails to show that I can read tarot. It's just me. Alright? I hope you enjoyed this, and this was not a rant at all. This was more, I guess, of like more of a clarity on, like, behind the scenes and how I actually read and what it's like to actually be psychic, because it is a blessing and it is a curse. But I like to look at it as the glass half full. But thank you anyway, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you can relate to this, please let me know. And all that. So love and light, you guys. Love and light. Thank you again. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I love you all. I truly do. I love you all. Even the ones who may not like how I read, like just the fact that you guys even give me a chance to watch my videos, it really, I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with it. So, thank you, you guys. Peace out.